The Gospel of the Buddha. Chapter 60. Amitabha. One of the disciples came to the Blessed One with a trembling heart and his mind full of doubt. And he asked the Blessed One, "O Buddha, our Lord and Master, why do we give up the pleasures of the world? If thou forbiddest to work miracles and to attain the supernatural, is not Amitabha, the infinite light of revelation, the source of innumerable miracles?" Buddha said, seeing the anxiety of a truth-seeking mind, said, "O Savaka, thou art a novice among the novices, and thou art swimming on the surface of samsara. How long will it take thee to grasp the truth? Thou hast not understood the words of the Tathagata. The Lord of Karma is irrefragable, and supplications have no effect, for they are empty words." Said the disciple, "So sayest thou there are no miraculous and wonderful things?" And the Blessed One said, "Is it not a wonderful thing, mysterious, miraculous to the worldling, that a man who commits wrong can become a saint? That he who attains to true enlightenment will find the path of truth and abandon the evil ways of selfishness? The bhikkhu who renounces the transient pleasures of the world for the eternal bliss of holiness performs the only miracle that can truly be called a miracle. A holy man changes the curses of karma into blessings. The desire to perform miracles arises either from covetousness or from vanity. The mendicant does right who does not think. People should salute me, who, though despised by the world, yet cherishes no ill will towards it. The mendicant does right to whom omens, meteors, dreams, and signs are things abolished. He is free from all their evils. Amitabha, the unbounded light, is the source of wisdom, of virtue, of Buddhahood. The deeds of sorcerers and miracle mongers are frauds. But what is more wondrous, more mysterious, more miraculous than Amitabha? "But Master," continued the Savaka, "is the promise of the happy region vain talk and a myth?" "What is this promise?" asked the Buddha. The disciple replied, "There is in the West a paradise called the Pure Land, exquisitely adorned with gold and silver and precious gems. There are pure waters with golden sands, surrounded by pleasant walks, covered with large lotus flowers. Joyous music is heard. Flowers rain down 3 times a day. Singing birds, whose harmonious notes proclaim the praises of religion. And in the minds of those who listen to the sweet sounds, remembrance arises of the Buddha, the law, the brotherhood. No evil birth is possible there, and even the name of hell is unknown. He who fervently and with a pious mind repeats the words Amitabha, Buddha, will be transported to the happy region of this pure land. And when death draws nigh, the Buddha, with a company of saintly followers, will stand before him, and there will be perfect tranquility." "In truth," said the Buddha, "there is such a happy paradise. But the country is spiritual, and it is accessible only to those that are spiritual. Thou sayest it lies in the West. This means look for it where he who enlightens the world resides. The sun sinks down and leaves us in utter darkness. the sage of night steal over us, and Mara, the evil one, buries our bodies in the grave. Sunset is nevertheless no extinction, and where we imagine we see extinction, there is boundless light and inexhaustible life. I understand, said the Savaka, that the story of the Western Paradise is not literally true. The description of paradise, the Buddha continued, is beautiful. Yet it is insufficient and does little justice to the glory of the Pure Land. The worldly can speak of it in a worldly way only. They use worldly similes and worldly words. But the Pure Land in which the pure live is more beautiful than thou canst say or imagine. However, the repetition of the name Amitabha Buddha is meritorious only if thou speak it with such a devout attitude of mind as will clench your heart and attune thy will to the works of righteousness. He only can reach happy land whose soul is filled with infinite light of truth. He only can live and breathe in the spiritual atmosphere of the Western Paradise, who has attained enlightenment. Verily I say unto thee, the Tathagata lives in the pure land of eternal bliss, even now while he is still in the body. And the Tathagata preaches the law of religion unto these and unto the whole world, so that thou and thy brethren may attain the same peace, the same happiness. Said the disciple, Teach me, O Lord, the meditations to which I must devote myself in order to let my mind enter into the paradise of the Pure Land. Buddha said, There are 5 meditations. The first meditation is the meditation of love, in which thou must so adjust thy heart that thou longest for the weal and welfare of all beings, including the happiness of your enemies. The second meditation is the meditation of pity, in which you thinkest of all beings in distress, vividly representing in thine imagination their sorrows and anxieties, so as to arouse a deep compassion for them in thy soul. The third meditation is the meditation of joy, in which thou thinkest of the prosperity of others and rejoicest with their rejoicings. The fourth meditation is the meditation on impurity, which thou considers the evil consequences of corruption, the effects of wrongs and evils. How trivial is often the pleasure of the moment, and how fatal are its consequences. The fifth meditation is the meditation on serenity, in which thou risest above love and hate, tyranny and thraldom, wealth and want, and regardest thine own fate with impartial calmness and perfect tranquillity. A true follower of the Tathagata founds not his trust upon austerities or rituals, but, giving up the idea of self, relies, with his whole heart open, Amitabha, which is the unbounded light of truth. The Blessed One, after having explained his doctrine of Amitabha, the immeasurable light, which makes him who receives it a Buddha, looked into the heart of his disciple and saw still some doubts, still anxieties. And the Blessed One said, Ask me, my son, the questions which weigh upon thy soul. And the disciple said, Can a humble monk, by sanctifying himself, acquire the talents of supernatural wisdom called Habinas, and the supernatural power called Iddhi? Show me the Iddhi Pad, the path to the highest wisdom. Open to me the jhanas, which are the meaning of acquiring samadhi, the fixity of mind which enraptures the soul. The Blessed One said, "Which are the Abhinas?" The disciple replied, "There are 6 Abhinas: the celestial eye, celestial ear, the body at will, or the power of transformation, the knowledge of the destiny of former dwellings, so as to know former states of existence, the faculty of reading the thoughts of others, and the knowledge of comprehending the finality of the stream of life." Buddha replied, "These are wondrous things, but verily every man can attain them. Consider the abilities of your own mind. Thou wert born about 200 leagues from here, and canst thou not in thy thought, in an instant, travel to thy native place, and remember the details of thy father's home? Seest thou with thy mind's eye to the roots of the tree which is shaken by the wind, without being overthrown? Does not the collector of herbs see in his mental vision, whenever he pleases, any plant with its roots, its stem, its fruits, leaves, and even the uses to which it can be applied? Cannot the man who understands languages recall to his mind any word whenever he pleases, knowing its exact meaning and import? How much more does the Tathagata understand the nature of things? He looks into the hearts of men, reads their thoughts. He knows the evolution of beings, foresees their ends. The disciple said, "Then the Tathagata teaches that man can attain through the jhanas the bliss of Abhina?" And the Blessed One asked in reply, "Which are the jhanas through which man reaches Abhina?" The disciple replied, "There are 4 jhanas. The first jhana is seclusion, in which one must free his mind from sensuality. The second jhana is tranquility of mind, full of joy and gladness. The third jhana is taking delight in things spiritual. The fourth jhana is the state of perfect purity, peace, which the mind is above all gladness and grief." "Good, my son," said Buddha. "Be sober. Abandon wrong practices, which serve only to stullify the mind." The disciple said, "Forbear with me, O Blessed One, for I have faith without understanding, and I am seeking the truth." Blessed One, O Tathagata, my Lord and Master, teach me the Iddhipad. Buddha said, "There are 4 means by which Iddhi is acquired. 1. Prevent bad qualities from arising. 2. Put away bad qualities which have arisen. 3. Produce goodness that does not yet exist. 4. Increase goodness which already exists. Search with sincerity. Persevere in the search, and in the end thou wilt find the truth." 61. The Teacher Unknown. And the Blessed One said to Ananda, "There are various kinds of assemblies, O Ananda, assemblies of nobles, of Brahmins, of householders, of bhikkhus, other beings. When I used to enter an assembly, I always became, before I seated myself, in colour like unto the colour of my audience, and in voices like unto their voice. I spoke to them in their language, and then, with religious discourse, I instructed, quickened, and gladdened them. My doctrine is like the ocean, having the same 8 wonderful qualities. Both the ocean and my doctrine become gradually deeper, and both preserve their identity under all changes. Both cast out dead bodies upon the dry land, as the great rivers, when falling into the main, lose their names and are thenceforth reckoned as the great ocean. So all the causes having renounced their lineage and entered the Sangha, become brethren, and are reckoned the sons of Sakyamuni. The ocean is the goal of all streams and of the rain from the clouds, yet is it never overflowing and never emptied. So the Dharma is embraced by many millions of people, yet it neither increases nor decreases. As the great ocean has only one taste, the taste of salt, so my doctrine has only one flavour, the flavour of emancipation. Both the ocean and the Dharma are full of gems and pearls and jewels, and both afford a dwelling place for mighty beings. These are the 8 wonderful qualities in which my doctrine resembles the ocean. My doctrine is pure. It makes no discrimination between noble and ignoble, rich and poor. My doctrine is like unto water, which cleanses all without distinction. My doctrine is like unto fire, which consumes all things, that exists between heaven and earth, great and small. My doctrine is like unto the heavens, for there is room in it, ample room for the reception of all, for men and women, boys and girls, the powerful and the lowly. But when I spoke, they knew me not, and would say, Who may this be who thus speaks? A man or a god? Then having instructed, quickened, and gladdened them with religious discourse, I would vanish away, but they knew me not, even when I vanished away. Parables and Stories. 62. Parables. And the Blessed One thought, I have taught the truth, which is excellent in the beginning, excellent in the middle, and excellent in the end. It is glorious in its spirit, and glorious in its letter. But simple as it is, the people cannot understand it, and I must speak to them in their own language. I must adopt my thoughts to their thoughts. They are like unto children and love to hear tales. Therefore I will tell them stories to explain the glory of the Dharma. If they cannot grasp the truth in the abstract arguments by which I have reached it, they may nevertheless come to understand it if it is illustrated in parables. 63. The Widow's 2 mites and the parable of the 3 merchants. There was once a lone widow who was very destitute, and having gone to the mountain, she beheld hermits holding a religious assembly. Then the woman was filled with joy, and uttering praises said, It is well, holy priests, but while others give precious things such as the ocean caves produce, I have nothing to offer. And having spoken thus, and having searched herself in vain for something to give, she recollected that some time before she had found in a dung heap 2 coppers. So taking these, she offered them forthwith as a gift to the priesthood in charity. The superior of the priests, a saint who could read the hearts of men, disregarding the rich gifts of others and beholding the deep faith dwelling in the heart of this poor widow, and wishing the priesthood to esteem rightly her religious merit, burst forth with full voice in canto. He raised his right hand and said, Reverend priests, attend, and then he proceeded. The coppers of this poor widow to all purpose are more worth than all the treasures of the oceans and all the wealth of the broad earth. As an act of pure devotion, she has done a pious deed. She has attained salvation, being free from selfish greed. The woman was mightily strengthened in her mind by this thought and said, It is even as the teacher says. What I have done is as much as if a rich man were to give up all his wealth. And the teacher said, Doing good deeds is like hoarding up treasures. and he expounded this truth in a parable. 3 merchants set out on their travels, each with his capital. One of them gained much, the second returned with his capital, and the third one came home after having lost his capital. What is true in common life applies also to religion. The capital is the state a man has reached. The gain is the heaven. The loss of his capital means that a man will be born in a lower state, as a denizen of hell, or as an animal. These are the courses that are open to the sinner. He who brings back his capital is like unto one who is born again as a man. Those who through the exercise of various virtues become pious householders will be born again as men. For all beings will reap the fruit of their actions, but he who increases his capital is like unto one who practices eminent virtues. The virtuous, excellent man attains in heaven to the glorious state of the gods. 64. The man born blind. There was a man born blind, and he said, I do not believe in the world of light and appearance. There are no colours bright or sombre. There is no sun, no moon, no stars, and no one has witnessed these things. His friends remonstrated with him, but he clung to his opinion. What you say that you see, he objected, are illusions. If colours existed, I should be able to touch them. They have no substance, are not real. Everything real has weight, but I feel no weight, where you see colours. In those days there was a physician who called to see the blind man. He mixed 4 simples, and when he applied them to the cataract of the blind man, the grey film melted, and his eyes acquired the faculty of sight. Tathagata is the physician. Cataract, illusion, of the 4th, I am. And the 4 simples are the 4 noble truths. The lost son. 65. There was a householder's son who went away into the distant country, and while the father accumulated immeasurable riches, the son became miserably poor. And the son, while searching for food and clothing, happened to come to the country in which the father had lived. And the father saw him in his wretchedness, for he was ragged and brutalized by poverty, and ordered some of his servants to call him. When the son saw the place to which he was conducted, he thought, I must have evoked the suspicion of a powerful man. He'll throw me into prison. Full of apprehension, he made his escape before he had seen his father. Then the father sent messengers out after his son, who was caught, and brought back in spite of his cries and lamentations. Thereupon the father ordered his servants to deal tenderly with his son, and he appointed a labourer of his son's rank and education to employ the lad as a helpmate on the estate. And the son was pleased with his new situation. From the window of his palace the father watched the boy, and when he saw that he was honest, industrious, he promoted him higher and higher. After some time, he summoned his son and called together all his servants and made the secret known to them, that the poor man was exceedingly glad, and he was full of joy at meeting his father. Little by little must the minds of men be trained for higher truths.